Rob Stern of Lenders Residential Mortgage. And I want to say hello to all of our Facebook fans. Rob is with me live here. And Rob, first of all, let me say Happy New Year's to you. Good to be back with you, Rob Stern, here on another station, KGGR. And of course, we're live on Facebook. God bless you, Rob. How are you, man?
I'm doing really well, Robert. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And Happy New Year. You're right. It's great to be back. It's been, I guess it's been probably 6 weeks we've been off the air, huh?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But Rob, you know, when God puts something together, let no man put it asunder. So
There you go.
Now, Rob, how long have we been together talking real estate and home buying in the Dallas Florida? How long have we been together, Rob?
22 years.
Now look at that. Look at
22
that.
years. Yes, sir.
That's beautiful, Rob. It's longevity. Well, Rob, either way it goes, let's talk about the American dream of home ownership. We've got a brand new president of the United States. It's a brand new year. And we want our KGGR listeners, everyone, to begin to reassess where they live. Because, Rob, you know, for years, we talked about sleeping in your investment, and you helped me, Rob, get my home. And I've been a homeowner now for about 15 years. And when I think about it, I say, thank you, God, for putting Rob Stern into my life. But Rob, just talk to us about the American dream of home ownership and this brand new year, new president, new direction that we're heading in this country.
Sure, Robert. And clearly it's a privilege for each opportunity that I have when it comes to helping somebody buy a home. And it was a blessing to work with you, clearly, Robert.
Yeah.
You know, home ownership is a unique opportunity that we all are entitled to as American citizens. I don't think that really that enough of us actually put a priority on the benefit of home ownership. Obviously, when you're renting an apartment, you're renting a duplex, renting a house, you are paying somebody else's home note. You are helping them further themselves financially, as opposed to taking the benefit that you've been giving in home ownership. It's not hard to become a homeowner, and we know this because of the thousands of people that we've helped over the years. As a homeowner or as a individual making an application, basically what we're going to look at is sustainable income and credit. And interestingly enough, Robert, credit is not a key point in all of this. You know, we can do a VA loan regardless of the credit score. So I have no minimum credit score whatsoever when it comes to my VA loans. FHA loans, I can go all the way down to a 500 credit score. So we're putting a lot of people into homes right now that would not normally have that capacity. And I think, again, our goal is to put every American into a home. That's certainly what the prior administration's goal was. It's what this current administration's goal is going to be. Home ownership is achievable, and that's the whole reason why we've done this show for all these years, moving from obviously from KHVN and our long relationship there to KGGR. The reality is everybody has the ability and the capacity to become a homeowner regardless of their income, regardless of their station or place in life, regardless of their income. There is a home for everybody out there. There is a capacity for everybody to move forward, but you got to start somewhere. And clearly that somewhere would be by giving us a telephone call. My number is 972-739-2350. Again, that's 972-739-2350. You know, as a direct lender, we work without overlays, and that's a big part of our business. The fact that we don't have an overlay means we can put more people into homes, and again, that is our whole goal. This is my 30th year in the industry, so I've done this a few times. And as such, I welcome the opportunity to meet and visit with every KGGR listener. I think that you know, each mortgage loan is literally a puzzle. A mortgage is nothing more than a financial tool and a financial opportunity for us to put together properly. We can put people into homes, and that's exactly what we do and what we've done for all these years.
Now, Rob, the interest rates, because when you buy a home, when you make a 30-year investment, 15-year investment, the interest rates are very, very important. Do we still have these historic low interest rates?
Yes, Robert. Rates are ridiculously low right now. We are seeing rates for both purchase and refinance business. We are seeing interest rates in the high twos That's right, twos.
Wow, that's great.
uh, and the low threes, perhaps. So interest rates are incredibly aggressive right now. And I can remember people that we put into homes perhaps a few years ago when we were talking about interest rates in the low fours, and those were very low interest rates. Now, you and I have been at this so long, Robert. We remember the double-digit interest rates.
My God, yes.
You know, I remember we
22%.
remember
Wow.
the 11% interest rates. You know, we are at a breaking point right now in our society where every individual should become a homeowner. There's no good reason for somebody to delay. It's just a matter of gathering the
Mhm.
appropriate documentation. Specifically, we're going to be looking for 1 month's worth of paycheck stubs, 2 years of W-2s. Don't let a furlough from COVID stand in your way. We can work around that. Very, very simple process to qualify. Again, it's a matter of just giving us a call, starting the process as we've always said, Robert. If you don't begin, you can never finish. And I think that's probably always been the biggest holdup or the biggest stopping point that we've had with all of our listeners. That they've felt uncomfortable. Perhaps they've been told no before for one reason or another, and so they've just stopped taking that effort. And we are here to say that you should not stop. You should not give up. You need to power on and make that attempt to become a homeowner. I've got individuals, listeners, many of them from Heaven 97. I've got individuals that I've worked with for perhaps 18 months, 2 years, to get them to the point where they're comfortable in home ownership, but they've bought homes. And I know you've been witness to the telephone calls over all those years. And not only am I happy to say that we've put a lot of people into homes that thought they couldn't buy houses, but it just makes you feel good. It helps your spirit. It
Well,
really
Rob,
does.
you have helped so many people, and we've heard testimonies from our KHVN listeners, and of course here on KGPR, we were hoping that we'll continue that particular legacy. I've had people tell me that if it hadn't been for Rob's, there's no able to qualify for a husband that you've made, particularly in the qualifying for a home. Rob, what's going on with the qualifications now?
Yeah, Robert, we're seeing more people qualify for home loans now than ever before. A large part of that is because of these low interest rates. Right now, somebody that's paying a $1,500 apartment rent can go out and buy a $225,000 house.
Wow.
I mean, rates are so low right now that a lot more people are able to qualify than they would normally think. 1 month's paycheck stubs, 2 years W-2s, tax returns, bank statements. That's really the bottom line is what I'm going to want to see as a lender. Now, my website is Lenders Texas. That is LendersTexas.com. All of our listeners can go there and apply for a mortgage loan. Again, whether it's a purchase or a refinance, certainly we're more than happy to go ahead and visit in any way possible. I take all those leads, all those calls personally, so they'll be hearing from me directly. And again, my telephone number is 972-739-2350. That is 972-739-2350. And we are absolutely ready to start 2021 off with a bang, get people into homes. I'm seeing a lot of people choosing to refinance their mortgage right now.
Yes.
It's amazing. We've got people who we put into houses a few years ago with a 4.5% interest rate that now are refinancing to rates that are in the high twos and saving even further money. People that are taking equity out of their house. Equity loans are very popular right now. People that are taking equity out of their house and then refinancing that home so that they can not only get a lower interest rate, but get some excess cash for the purpose of paying off high interest credit card bills. There's just a very significant amount of traffic right now. And again, I want to also say, normally January is the dead time in the mortgage industry. Normally January is when things slow down. But if the traffic we're seeing right now is indicative of what is to come, I would say this is going to be a year that's even bigger than 2020 from a real estate perspective. A lot of people are are climbing off of the fence, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yes.
The COVID has scared so many people, Robert, and it's pushed so many people into an uncomfortable position, not knowing what's going on, getting their shots, not getting the shot. And I think finally we're at a point, regardless of the administration that we're dealing with, I think we're finally at a point where the average citizen, the average American, the average Texan is starting to scratch their head and say, why am I living in an apartment when I could be living in a home and building that generational wealth for my family?
All right. Well, once again, we're talking here with our good friend Rob Stern of Lenders Residential Mortgage and Mortgage Solutions. Now, many of you know for years you heard him with us on our former station KHBN, but now we're on KGGR 1040. And of course, the number to call is 972-988-1040 if you have a question or a comment about the American dream of homeownership. Once again, Rob Stern is with us, 972-988-1040. Now, Rob, we're also at the beginning of a new year. It's income tax filing time. Many people will be getting refunds. And for years, Rob, we have encouraged people to use those refunds, to use that as a down payment on a home. So what can you tell us about the tax filing season?
Well, I think it's more of the same, Robert. This is a great opportunity to become a homeowner. Now, there are so many opportunities and products out there for us to use when it comes to home ownership. I'm actually seeing a lot of people also take their rebate checks, because these rebate checks now are going out. And matter of fact, I spoke to a young man this morning who said he took his down payment, his earnest money on a brand new home from his rebate check. And he just took it over, it over to the title company. So I'd like to think that our listeners, that Americans in general, are becoming a little wiser with the way that they spend their money. But yes, tax time, we're all going to be getting money back. I think that the average American is getting a significant refund. And of course, then we've got all these stimulus checks that we're getting as well right now. Use that money for something positive, Robert. A home is something that you can never go wrong with. Owning a piece of real estate is always going to be considered an asset. Over time, real estate, certainly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is appreciating between 4% and 5% on an annualized basis. What that means is if a home appreciates at 4%, inside of 18 years, that home is going to double in value, Robert.
Yes.
Double in value.
Yes.
And at the same time, you're paying that note down. So quite literally, if you spend $200,000 on a house today, in 2039, that house can be worth as much as $400,000.
Wow.
That's where equity comes from, Robert. And
yes,
that's the power of building generational wealth. In addition to that house being worth $400,000, you'll probably only owe about $110,000 at that time because of the deterioration of your principal as you make those payments every month.
Wow.
This is a great time to be in the market. There's no reason for anyone to be renting a home, an apartment, a condominium, a duplex. Get out there, become a homeowner, start 2021 off on the right foot, and make it count.
Beautiful. Once again, if you have a question, those of you who are with us here on 1040 KGGR, and of course, we're live on Facebook as well. Our good friend Rob Stern of Lenders Residential Mortgage and Mortgage Solutions with us here today. The number to call is 972-988-1040. That's 972-988-1040. Now, Rob, also, for a lot of people out there who are spending money on rent, but yet they have a credit concern. They're paying $1,200 to rent maybe 2-room apartments. They want to move out, but they got credit issues. They can't qualify for the home. So can you help improve the credit scores of people who are trapped inside of those apartments that are constantly going up?
Sure. No, that's a great question. No, absolutely, we can help. I think that more and more often what we're seeing is actually apartment complexes beginning to credit qualify their tenants anyway. So quite literally, I have telephone calls on a weekly basis from people who tell me the apartment complex that we're living in or that we're wanting to live in has run my credit, and they say that I'm not credit worthy, and so we were denied a lease, and I've been able to put those same people into homes. Qualifying to become a homeowner is not difficult. It's a matter of who you're working with and what the qualification process is. I think that what we want our listeners and our viewers to understand through all this is that every mortgage company is different, and I want to really kind of drill down on that a little bit more. Every mortgage lender has a specific set of criteria that they use when it comes to lending money. Mortgage Solutions, the lender's residential mortgage team, is a direct lender. What that means is I work without any overlays whatsoever. I have no risk-based guidance that says I can't do a loan because they don't have enough money in the bank or because their credit score is not a 620. That's why it's so important when it comes to veterans specifically that we have no minimum credit score. Robert, the VA puts a guideline out that specifically says we have no minimum credit score on a VA loan. So when you hear these other companies talk about a 620 or a 640 or a 680 credit score, those are artificial credit scores. Those are risk-based overlays that they've put in place to artificially prevent individuals from buying homes with a certain credit score. That's not who we are. Mortgage Solutions will underwrite a loan based off of the guidance that comes from FHA, which is lower, VA, Freddie Mac. Positions why we put a lot of people into homes. It's just because we are not an average mortgage company. We have very specific niche in what we do. We're very good at.
And Rob, also a quick word before we run out of time for our millennials, because I'm hearing that more and more people are leaving New York. They're leaving California. They're coming right here to Texas. And if you don't go ahead and buy yourself a home now, could you wind up being priced out of the market?
Yes. And that's that's actually a very good point, Robert. I would say, first off, I would say, who can blame them? Who wouldn't want to live in Texas? I mean, Texas is a great place. It's been wonderful to me and my family. It's been good to you and your family.
Beautiful.
I don't blame anybody for wanting to leave California or New York for that matter. I think, but the price of living has gone up exponentially in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it will continue to increase as these people come into the marketplace. A lot of these individuals are selling their homes for hundreds of thousands of dollars and coming down here and they're paying cash for these houses. That's what's driving our prices up. It's also making our traffic much worse.
Yes, indeed. Well, Rob, now also, let's got your contact information again, sir.
Thank you, Robert. Yes, sir. My telephone number again is 972-739-2350. That's 972-739-2350. And you can also find me on the internet. Just go to Lenders Texas. That is LendersTexas.com. And if you want to email me personally, you can email me at robertstern@lenderstexas.com.
Yes. Now, Rob, what about reverse mortgages? What do you think about these reverse mortgages? Because some senior citizens say, well, my income is shrinking. Do I need to go ahead and do a reverse mortgage and just pay to upkeep the house and let somebody else worry about the mortgage? Or what should I do about reverse mortgages?
Well, reverse mortgage, Robert, makes a lot of sense for a very specific individual. And when I say that, I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head. As we age, which we all are, as we get older, clearly the cost of living is going to change for us. And a reverse mortgage specifically has become a very popular tool with a good cross section of the marketplace. A reverse mortgage is exactly that. It's the opposite of a traditional mortgage. On a reverse mortgage, the individual makes no more principal and interest payments as long as they own that house, whether it's through their lifetime, until they sell the home, what have you. So it's a very good tool as far as financial management for someone who is perhaps struggling to make that mortgage payment every month.
Now, also, Rob, we have a new incoming Treasury Secretary a female, Janet Yellen.
Yes.
President Biden has appointed her to be the new Treasury Secretary. How do you think she's going to handle the fiscal priorities of our nation? What do you think? A new Treasury
Wow.
Secretary, we're going to have an increase in our interest rates, or because they're very low right now?
I think, Robert, I would say I anticipate rates will go up over time.
Oh boy.
Right now, I think we're going to see everything status quo, at least for the next several months, as President Biden gets his footing and decides exactly what are his priorities, and I think a lot of it's also going to have to do with how the nation receives him. You know, coming out of one administration into another is always going to be somewhat of an adjustment, and in this case, a significant adjustment. We have some cyclical concerns to think about, but housing is still very inexpensive in the Dallas-Fort Worth area,
Yes.
and I think that interest rates are typically used as a way of controlling the cost of living overall. In other words, if housing becomes if the housing market becomes overheated to the point where we can't keep up with it, then interest rates would, of course, start to increase as a way of slowing down the market. Right now, we're doing a great job keeping pace with the market itself. We're meeting those demands. There's a shortage of homes that are available in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is one of the things that's driving those prices up higher. But overall, Dallas-Fort Worth is unique. We are not the rest of the country, and I know it's hard for us to believe this, but interest rates are not judged by what happens in Texas. Interest rates are judged by the entire United States economy. And overall, the economy in a lot of places is not as robust as we're experiencing here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And I also want to remind all of our listeners, we're going through this big economy right now, and we're still suffering in several sectors: hospitality, hotels, restaurants, cruise ships, airlines. A lot of people are still hurting out there. So, you know, once everything is back on level footing, once we have a market that is firing on all cylinders, so to speak, then I think we may see an adjustment in interest rates. But for right now, I think we're going to see more of the same until that actually happens and everybody's back at work.
All right. Well, Rob, as we get ready to wrap up, let's give out your contact information, how people can reach you, and anything else that's happening in the market that we may have missed.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. My telephone number, 972-739-2350. That is 972-739-2350. You can also reach me on the internet. Just go to lenderstexas.com. Certainly, you can email me at robertstern@lenderstexas.com. And as a whole, I just want to leave our listeners with a couple of thoughts. I've been blessed to work with you, Robert, for the past 22 years, and I have enjoyed and appreciated every moment of our relationship. It's been just awesome working together, and I know that we put a lot of people into homes, and more importantly, I've gained a good friendship.
Well,
So happy New Year, and thank you for all you do and all you've done.
Well, Rob, the feelings are mutual, and we certainly want to thank you for working with us on Heaven 97 down through the years. And now that you're here on KGGR 1040, our new station here, we want our KGGR family to realize that you've got to get yourself a home. We believe in generational wealth and passing it on to the next generation so that life will just be sweeter for all of us. And once again, Rob Stern, our good friend of Lenders Residential Mortgage, once again, write this phone number down. That's 972-739-2350. If indeed you need a home or want to refinance or things of that sort, we encourage you to call our good friend Rob Stern. He's gotten so many people in the body of Christ into a home. And those of you also remember, those good Bible readers of you remember Jesus Christ even had himself indeed a home. But once again, we want to thank you for being with us today right here on 1040 KGGR.